Hard talk alert, and time it is now 3:40 p.m. and already the bright sunshining day has been passing so quickly that we are going to have evening in 1 or 2 hours. Today I would like to talk on some diplomatic issues with new incoming government because apart from domestic politics, diplomatic issues are emerging as one of the crucial areas for securing South Korea's national interest. So yesterday, President-elect Yoon Suk-yeol had interview with the Washington Post, and he expressed some very important point on the direction of a future South Korean diplomacy. And he again emphasized more enhanced diplomatic effort based on a stronger U.S.-South Korea alliance. Also, he said that he will seek to improve ties with Japan, restoring traditional trilateral cooperation, calling current Seoul-Tokyo relations the Achilles heel of trilateral cooperation between South Korea, Japan, and the United States. Also, with regard to North Korea and its recent series of missile launches that included the firing of an intercontinental ballistic missiles, he said that his new government will adopt a two-track approach. One, to treat North Korea as the main enemy, and the other, to help the people of North Korea on a humanitarian basis. What is important at this crucial moment is that he restored the very important concept of main enemy, the concept of a main enemy, which the leftist Moon Jae-in government, abolished in a Ministry of Defense white paper, something like that. So, regardless of the circumstances, he again emphasized that because we are the same race and brothers, new government will provide humanitarian aid at any time. Also, new government will keep open the conversation channel that we need to solve problems like the military threat, he said. And anyway, dialogues, very important. Any government, any diplomatic effort based on dialogue are the cornerstones of diplomatic effort. So even though North Korea violated all the promises and the regulations made between the two countries, still dialogue is very important. In this context, he emphasized the importance of dialogue once again. Also, based on the improving the South Korea-Japan relations, probably South Korea's new ability to have more important intelligence on North Korean affairs, we will try to enhance South Korea, Japan, U.S. trilateral military cooperation. So he pointed out once again that the weakened relationship with Japan in the past Moon Jae-in government was not based on our pragmatic approach of a diplomatic effort, but rather it was based on a prejudice, the ideological orientation of a few political figures in the leftist government. So again, a future-oriented development of South Korea-Japan relations is beneficial to not only Japan but also to South Korean people in the future economic cooperation and the military cooperation schemes, something like that. So it is very regret. It is a very strong regret that Seoul-Tokyo relations have been at their lowest ebb since 2019, when Japan took economic steps believed to be aimed at retaliating against Seoul's court decisions, ordering Japanese firms to pay compensation to Korean workers forced into labor during Japan's from 1910 to 1945 colonial rule period. So it is very important, that President-elect Yoon accused outgoing President Moon Jae-in's Democratic Party of exploiting the South Korea-Japan relationship for domestic politics, adding that dragging the decade-old colonial rule back onto the table hurt the bilateral relationship. So, emphasizing the importance of working with Quad members on issues related to COVID-19 vaccines, climate change, and emerging technologies to create a synergy with Quad countries. As you understand, Japan is a member of Quad countries, and restoring normal relations will help South Korea to have a close networking with Quad member countries. And hopefully, I hope that South Korea will pretty soon join as a former member of Quad, the 4-member security clubs there, so that we can secure more economic benefit, not only security benefit from this kind of collective security mechanism in the future. We are afraid of China's unilateral retaliatory measures caused by this kind of South Korea's move to join Quad, but everything is reciprocal, and if China retaliate against this kind of our military diplomacy, China will be also disbenefited, because our economy, bilateral economic structure is already too much interdependent on each other's economic development schemes and also trade and in many areas. So I don't think, even though South Korea joins Quad, that does not mean that South Korean economic problems will be caused by China's unilateral retaliation, because we have watched how Australia have benefited by becoming member of Quad, because very close cooperation with the United States, also other G7 countries, helped Australia becoming such an advanced economic countries, reaching GNP per capita level already 50,000 US dollars. So yesterday's interview with the Washington Post by President-elect Yoon Suk-yeol has warned against future provocations, possibly to be made by Pyongyang, because they are escalating regional tensions already, especially thinking about upcoming April 15th anniversary. DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, may be tempted to take another provocative action. Sung Kim, a special representative for North Korean policy at the U.S. State Department, analyzed, warning against North Korea's moves toward military provocations, including a possible nuclear weapons test. As we remember, Kim Yo-jong, the influential sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, further she chilled the atmosphere with her remark last Tuesday, threatening South Korea after its defense minister highlighted South Korea's preemptive strike ability to counter North attack. She raised the tensions. Also, U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman, she vowed to take stronger measures to let the North Korea know that they can't just keep doing this without any consequences, that we take actions that show we have a credible deterrence against any attack to be made by North Korea. So North Korea is cornered more and more if they go to provocations in the future. So during this kind of important times of power transition in South Korea, it is timely and proper that President-elect Yoon Suk-yeol showed a very stable diplomatic stances toward our allied countries and international community. And even in this very critical transition period, officials of South Korea and U.S. foresee that North Korea may attempt its 7th nuclear weapons test either on April 15th, the anniversary of North Korea's founder Kim Il-sung's birthday, or on April 25th, the 90th anniversary of the foundation of North Korea's People's Revolutionary Army. The North Korea may seek such military maneuvering for the purpose of being recognized as a nuclear weapons state in order to find a breakthrough amid its economic difficulties by securing more leverage in future negotiations. However, that will not working as North Korea want in the future. So I hope that North Korea will stop nightmare performances, even in a day of founder's birthday, because as we have witnessed some symptoms, North Korea is set to celebrate the 110th birth anniversary of its founder Kim Il-sung Friday night with large-scale performances and fireworks at its capital, according to state media. So already some symptoms there, but we strongly urge North Korean leader and its North Korea's Communist Party again to stop that kind of meaningless provocations. Also, the U.S. Special Envoy Sung Kim is going to visit Seoul next week, because this is a very crucial time in analyzing North Korean tactics against United States and South Korea's defense strategies in the future. U.S. Special Representative for North Korea during Sung Kim will travel to Seoul next Monday for a 5-day trip to discuss the situation on the Korean Peninsula and the joint response to North Korea's recent intercontinental ballistic missile provocation. And U.S. State Department announced last Thursday. And during his visit, all these kind of strategies will be discussed. And already President-elect Yoon Suk-yeol have showed a strong willingness to cement further bilateral ties between Seoul and Washington. Also, Sung Kim's trip to Seoul comes, shortly after South Korean officials visited Washington earlier this month, where the two discussed strategies to prevent further provocations to be made by Pyongyang. And so far, as we all understand, North Korea has carried out 12 rounds of missile launch this year, including its first ICBM test in over 4 years last month. So U.S. State Department said that the trip to Seoul by Sung Kim underscores the U.S. ROK commitment to ongoing close collaboration on North Korean issues, as the two sides seek to advance complete denuclearization and permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula. So, in this time of power transition in South Korea, as President-elect Yoon Suk-yeol had interviewed with the Washington Post yesterday, we needed to be very much careful. We need to check all the possibilities and prepare in detail all the measures to minimize the impact of North Korea's possible provocations to be made in the future. As I remember, these kind of moves and happenings on and off the Korean Peninsula, I heard that privately through my personal channel that Washington is nowadays too much happy that South Korean people choose conservative government in the next coming 5 years, so that the former restoration of a trilateral security alliance among Seoul, Tokyo, Washington, and also a incoming new government stances toward the United States will be much promoted into a direction to secure bilateral security interest, moving away from the leftist Moon Jae-in government. Very, very dangerous. Too much pro-North Korean, too much pro-China China ideal policies, which hurted, so much, to a surprising degree, which hurted, the normal relations between Washington and Seoul, even almost, damaged such a good foundation of cooperation between Tokyo and Seoul, and conclusively, in total damaging the trilateral security cooperative framework of Washington, Seoul, Tokyo. So it is a great relief that, as I comment on the security issues here, that we have achieved something that we cannot count the importance of this kind of changes here only by saying amount of money. We are sharing the same values of a liberal democracy and market economy, also putting much emphasis on the issue of human rights. So I'm sure that South Korea will be so much benefited by this kind of normal diplomacy and pragmatic approaches based on traditional US-Korean alliance system. I hope that all the Koreans living abroad could understand with more details how South Korean incoming government will be cementing more traditional ties with these kind of allied countries. Thank you so much. This is Baktaew TV. Baktaew TV, Hard Talk Alert. Thank you so much.